I'm Ben Wolfgang, national security correspondent here at Threat Status for the Washington Times, and I'm here with Guy Taylor, the national security editor. We are at the Air, Space, and Cyber Conference sponsored by the Air and Space Forces Association here at National Harbor, just outside D.C. It's a sprawling convention floor back here, as you can see. Guy, what are some of the key themes that you've picked up on so far here at the show?
Well, I think this year's event is interesting just in the scope of equipment that's on display that we've seen from some of the newer companies, Anduril being one with a very big drone they have on display. I think there's a lot of stuff about integration, how it is to take older equipment and integrate it with fast evolving new technology. But I don't see a specific news-breaking element this year. What I do see is a change in tenor toward the threat posed by China and its fast advancing aerospace technology, launching satellites, launching next generation fighter jet prototypes. On the first day of AFA this year, 2025, there was an intelligence panel that was titled The China Threat. Very interestingly, a similar panel happened in 2024, but they called it the China Problem.
So it's more explicit this time around.
I think so. That's a nuanced change. How about you? What are you seeing?
Well, I mean, sort of following up on that, I think that the counter-drone aspect is something I'm picking up on walking around the floor here. And just whether it's directed energy or other types of counter-drone measures, this understanding throughout the military and the defense industry that the days of shooting down drones with $1 million plus missiles is just, it's cost prohibitive at this point. And so a lot of the energy, I think, within the industry, and you can talk about directed energy here at Honeywell, for example, or other companies that we're talking to, that's where a lot of the focus is because it's a national security imperative for the U.S. and its allies at this point.
Of course, there is an elephant in the room, which is Golden Dome. Of course. There are several companies, L3Harris is one, that's got a really big Golden Dome display. We're all waiting for something about what the Golden Dome missile defense shield architecture might look like. Will it be 70% space-based? Will it be 50% land-based? A lot of that's classified. It's something that we're tracking in Threat Status.
Yeah, I think that's what we found too in our reporting through Threat Status is a lot of these companies don't have those details yet either. That architecture plan is being briefed up the chain on Capitol Hill and inside the Pentagon, but there are as many questions still, even today, months after the official rollout of Golden Dome, as there are answers, I think, at this point.
So there's also this piece where within that competition, how will some of these companies work together towards Golden Dome? There's a lot of that kind of happening behind the scenes, those meetings among the different primes and smaller companies. Are you seeing competition in the drone space? What companies are here in that space and sort of, are they working together or competing against each other?
It's that collaboration versus competition question that we always get into when you're talking about, Shield AI or AV, Boeing, and go through lists of dozens of companies that are working in that space right now. And when you talk about threats and projects of the scope and importance that we're talking about here, I think there is kind of a fine line between competition and cooperation on addressing some of these national security threats.
Interesting. Of course, Shield AI has the VBAT drone, which we've reported on in Threat Status. We've actually done coverage of it before. There's also Anduril is here with the drone display they're really trying to be like the popping new company on the scene.
Yeah.
And of course, you mentioned Boeing, AV, formerly AeroVironment, all have really big drone displays. Large drones, small drones, drone swarms. I think L3Harris also is in that space as well.
Yeah, the size difference in some of these drones is always interesting. When you're talking about the Switchblade, which AV makes, is very different than some of the other much larger drones that you can see on display here.
Thanks for being here.
That's a blast so far. Thank you. I'm Ben Wolfgang for the Washington Times. This is Guy Taylor. Thank you so much.